Orchids. They feel like such elegant, even finicky plants, don't they? Their delicate petals and intricate patterns make them seem almost otherworldly. I remember thinking the same thing when I got my first one. It was a gift, and I was both excited and apprehensive. It felt like a big responsibility, like bringing home a prized puppy. I wanted to do everything right. But you know what? Caring for orchids is more about understanding them than fussing over them. It's about observing and learning. My own journey with orchids started with a gorgeous phalaenopsis. Its beauty was captivating. Its white blooms took my breath away. They were so pure and perfect, like nature's own artwork. I was so nervous about overwatering or not giving it enough light. I read countless articles and watched numerous videos. Learning by doing, I discovered that orchids have a unique way of communicating their needs. Their leaves and roots tell you everything if you pay attention. Once you understand their language, caring for them becomes a joy, not a chore. It's like having a silent conversation with nature, and the reward, those stunning blooms that brighten up your home and your heart. They bring a sense of accomplishment and a touch of elegance to any space. Let's talk light. Orchids love bright, indirect light. Think of a bright summer day, but with the sun's rays filtered through a sheer curtain. That's the sweet spot. A south or east-facing window is usually perfect. If you notice the leaves turning a deep green, your orchid might be craving more light. On the flip side, reddish leaves could mean it's getting too much direct sunlight. Observe your orchid and it'll guide you. Think of it as a gentle dance between sunlight and shade. Watering orchids can feel tricky, but it doesn't have to be. With a little knowledge and attention, you can master the art of keeping these beautiful plants hydrated. Instead of sticking to a rigid schedule, feel the potting mix. This is the best way to understand your orchid's needs. When it's mostly dry, it's time to water. This ensures that the roots get the right amount of moisture without being overwatered. Use lukewarm water and make sure it drains completely. This mimics the natural environment of orchids, which thrive in well-draining conditions. Orchids don't like to sit in soggy soil. Proper drainage is crucial to prevent root rot and other issues. During the growing season, which is spring and summer, you might need to water more often. This is when orchids are actively growing and need more hydration. Feeding your orchid is also important. Nutrients help the plant grow strong and produce beautiful blooms. Use a balanced orchid fertilizer diluted to half strength. This prevents over-fertilization, which can harm the plant. Fertilize every other watering during the growing season and less frequently in the winter. This ensures your orchid gets the nutrients it needs without being overwhelmed. Section 4. Troubleshooting, decoding your orchid's signals. Even with the best care, you might encounter a few bumps along the way. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us. If your orchid's leaves are wrinkling, it might be thirsty. Yellowing leaves could signal overwatering or poor drainage. And if those beautiful blooms start to drop, it could be due to temperature fluctuations or drafts. The key is to observe, adjust, and be patient. Your orchid will bounce back with a little TLC. Section 5. Repotting, giving your orchid room to breathe. Repotting is an essential part of orchid care that ensures your plant has the space and nutrients it needs to thrive. Orchids don't like to be cramped. They need room to grow and expand their roots. They thrive in well-draining potting mix that allows their roots to breathe. This mix typically includes materials like bark, perlite, and charcoal. You'll know it's time to repot when you see roots growing out of the drainage holes or the potting mix starts to decompose. This is a sign that the orchid has outgrown its current home. Choose a pot that's slightly larger than the current one. This gives the roots more space to grow without overwhelming the plant. Gently remove the orchid from its old pot and loosen any tangled roots. Be careful not to damage the delicate roots during this process. Place it in the new pot and fill with fresh orchid potting mix. Make sure the plant is stable and upright. Repotting every 1 to 2 years will keep your orchid happy and healthy. Regular repotting helps prevent root rot and ensures the plant has access to fresh nutrients. Section 6. Blooming with confidence. You've got this. Caring for orchids might seem daunting at first, but trust me, it's a rewarding journey. These elegant plants bring so much joy with their stunning blooms and graceful presence. Remember, it's all about understanding their needs and responding with love and care. Don't be afraid to experiment, observe, and adjust your approach. And when those beautiful blooms finally appear, you'll know that you've successfully nurtured something truly special. Happy orchid growing, kid.